Dragon's Dogma is an action RPG released in 2012 for the Xbox and PlayStation 3. It was created by Capcom, but more specifically this guy. You may not know, but you probably know this guy, Dante, you know, from the hit 2003 game Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. No, but actually, Itsuno directed these two games in particular, so you already know this game's got good combat. So basically, the man was keen to make a game like this for ages, and he got a team together well versed in the action genre to make the best open world action RPG ever.
How come the screen's gone black?
Like straight up, if we look at a reliable source of information, Wikipedia, he says, yeah, there's a lot of open world action RPGs, but I mean, where's the action, am I right fellas? Anyway, in all seriousness, check this quote. アクションの仕組みを理解している人が少たゲームがなかったら自分たちでやるべきだと考えしました。I think this quote pretty much sums up like the entire game, so just keep it in mind as we press onward, brothers. Booting up the game, we immediately encounter an issue, but we can easily fix this. Just a moment. Alright, much better. Let's go. You're thrown into a short prologue where you learn the basics of combat and meet the title character, Dogma. Just look how big this boy is. He takes up half my screen and shakes the ground as he lifts off. The sheer scale of this absolute unit draws you straight in. As he leaves, he speaks a mysterious line. What could it mean? Anyway, we fight some children.
I'll fell it in a single blow.
I break my legs. And touch a rock to summon some woman. Awesome. Look, this prologue throws some vague stuff at you that's actually going to teach you after all this, so I'm not going to explain it here. Fight some more children. Run up some stairs and I'm like, yeah, I'd hit that. With the steel of the sword, perish, curve, God's thunder smite. We meet up with the science team. Me when I walk into Tesco's and there's lots and lots of sausage rolls on the reduced section. Cutscene. More vague dialogue. Another cutscene, which is also very vague. Yeehaw, game start. Now we can make a character. We can be Guts, Frodo, Sword Art Online, and my cousin. Cheer bro. Choose from two voices. Troy Baker, before he became too cool for anime, and Keith Silverstein.
Steel yourself for combat.
Steel yourself for combat.
Time to create our OC. Don't steal. I think I will create the ideal and, dare I say, peak male form.
Britannia command you. Now all of you, die!
Ah, perfect. You can also pick a moniker, which no other player will actually see unless they are a child, but it's fun to look through all the names you can choose from. Heaps of them are Capcom characters, you know, you got Dante, of course, Virgil, Felicia, Barack Obama, and heaps of others.
The man some fucking eggs, bitch!
Cool, fucker, watch this shit, cause this is gonna be ruthless.
Lay down rod and reel and take up the sword. That's awesome!
Feels good, right?
It's the dragon! Here we go! Fuck you!
He isn't gonna be in Dragon's Dogma 2. So this is Grigori, among other names of course. Consider him the main antagonist, as the game does a pretty damn good job setting up both the players and their characters' relationship with him right from the get-go. Instead of just showing us how powerful an enemy he is, we're given him the chance to fight and see firsthand how weak we are compared to him. It immediately sets an end goal for the player, making you think, okay, I've got a long way to go before I don't get one shot by this man's and deal negative damage. This game doesn't spend yonks trying to set up stakes, motivations and plot points. It knows what it is and it plays to its strengths. So he eats our heart out. Ah, come on man, I've only got one of those. Marking us as an arisen. One who is tasked with slaying the dragon. Okay, so you know how I just said that the game plays to its strengths? Well, it definitely doesn't cover up its weaknesses. One of those is its story. You will not see this dragon again for another 10 to 15 hours. He straight up pulls a dab move and heads out, only coming back like right before you fight him. What's he doing? Shit knows, but apparently he's gonna bring about the destruction of the world, so start lifting, boy. I'm gonna be going over the quote-unquote main quest throughout the video and then take a hunty dive into it fully at the end, so just roll with it. So I wake up and I flick Grigori a text. Now we get to choose a starting class, but not before I assert my dominance among the sick and injured. Now when I say choose a starting class, what I mean is we only choose fighter. Do not choose mage or strider, because if you do, you might just be inclined to refund the game. Both these classes do shit damage before we can get any good gear at the main town, and neither of them have any form of defense aside from doing one of these. This PSA was brought to you by the Dragon's Dogma gang. Feel free to join our Discord server. We are currently looking for mods, preferably with experience in grooming children. Roll up to the end and take every quest, so I may gain wealth and power from slaughtering fauna. Just as I'm about to leave, Nicolas Cage shows up and joins my party.
Oh, sure, yes, absolutely.
This old man's like, he is a pawn and renowned actor. And then he dies from old age.
Number 7. Pawn.
Nicolas Cage is a pawn, same as the 3 from the prologue. Mysterious beings from the Rift. Wait, that kinda looks familiar. Nah, this game is a shit story, it shouldn't mean anything, eh? They're known as pawns because, much like a chess pawn, I am prepared to sacrifice them in order to win the battle. As the Arisen is tasked with slaying the dragon, the pawns are tasked with assisting the Arisen. Be that through grappling enemies for the Arisen to slay, yeah, hold 'em there bro, gathering only the most useful of items and materials, and providing the Arisen with an encyclopedic knowledge on enemies. Pawns can also be recruited by other players in their game, so if you see Sigurinn out there, tell him I hope he's doing well. Okay, just a quick tangent, but on the real, these guys never shut the walk up, and I love it. In most RPGs we have a party of characters, they either never say anything during combat or they just blurt out their attack names or some shitty one-liner. Now, I hate this shit because not only is it a missed opportunity to build characters and relationships during gameplay, but it also makes no sense for a group to not communicate with one another during a fight. Here, however, your pawns will call out when they spot a specific enemy, they'll pinpoint their weaknesses, alert you when they're fucking dead.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Just information that helps the player make decisions and learn more about how to combat particular enemies or what they should bring to deal with them next time. Not only that, but just like the player, pawns learn more about enemies the more you fight them. Exploiting an enemy's weakness means your pawn will remember it for next time, even if you don't. And I know it gets memed on heaps, but I'd rather hear that for the 1000th time than going into a menu and looking at numbers. Anyway, on to the encampment I say. Is that a fucking goblin?
That's one. That's I am Goblin Slayer.
So you roll up to the encampment and this rock is like, kill the Cyclops, and I'm like, yes rock. The main draw of this game is the boss fight, and there's a Last of Us 2 load of them to fight, each needing different tactics to bring down, aside from just hitting it until number reaches 0. The first boss you fight, however, seamlessly teaches you everything you need to know about fighting these monsters through a few key points. Getting hit by them will chunk you and likely send you flying. They're big and they can be damaged in different areas. Climb. This is all taught to you before you fight it during the cutscene, as you see it just yeet goblins as it swings its arms, the low angle framing showing its size in comparison to the nearby combatants, and the final shot focusing on its big fat ball head and mono eye, clearly its weak point. These fundamentals make fighting boss monsters hella fun, especially in your first encounter with one, because you may know how to beat it, but you're not entirely sure how to beat it, you know what I'm saying? Hey, with the Cyclops dead, we can now create our own pawn. Look, there's no meme here, I'm just gonna create a standard pawn, okay? Every pawn is now mine to command, so we can just recruit any of them off the street to create a party of 4. Alright, now with all that tutorial stuff out of the way, I can finally talk about the main parts of the game. Dragon's Dogma is all about the action and the open world. After you get to the main town, you can just explore, kill shit, and get your head rinsed by all manner of horrible creatures. The game is designed so that you're spending most of your time out and about fighting anything that starts with S and ends with Saurian. There's a mix of melee, ranged, and magic combat from a number of different classes to choose from, each with their own set of strengths and skills to use. Combat has a flow of weaving together basic attacks with skills to create your own combos. I call this one, no more kids for you. You can also cancel a lot of attack recovery animations by jumping or going into another attack, which makes for a nice amount of forward momentum during combat. There's a variety of enemies that come in different variations scattered over the world, and you're never going more than a few minutes without fighting something. Combat with standard enemies typically involves your party fighting a large group of them, but they will often split into smaller groups to take on a single opponent. Unless of course you're fighting bandits, in which case, it's whatever, man. Like, what are you doing? Stop running away, bro. For the most part, this type of encounter design makes for a sort of controlled chaos feel, where the player will go off and beat the shit out of everything while their pawns draw some heat away from them, or assist them in taking down foes. Oh yeah, did I mention you can grab and pick shit up in this game? You can straight pick up a wounded enemy and yeet them off a cliff for an easy kill, or you can hold the grab to grapple them instead, basically stunning the enemy and allowing teammates to finish them off. And they deal more damage too. Lovely. When it comes to items, there's an arseload of them. You've got healing items like meat and plants, as well as status ailment cures. Throwables like bombs, different arrow types you can equip so you can just shoot bombs instead. A lot of these you can find out in the world, so even if you're low on healing items or out and about, you can usually find something to munch on. Yeah. This also leads to a lot of fun moments where you're fighting an enemy and run out of items, so you just look around frantically trying to find anything. Or the inverse, where you've come prepared to a boss fight with 20 bottles of sauce. You often find yourself with no more of the healing items you bought at town, so you'll just have to make do with what you find along the way, and it feels like you're actually going on an adventure. This isn't RPG after all, so let's talk about the loot.
That's good.
There's chests of different levels all over, and there's a chance of getting an item or some equipment when opening one. Enemies drop materials specific to them. Kill a wolf, with fire, of course, get a wolf pelt. You get heaps of good materials from bosses, and these materials can either be sold or used to enhance your equipment. So every time you explore, you come back to town with more money and better gear. On the topic of armor, you can look so goddamn cool in this game. You can mix and match any armor together, allowing you to customize head, torso, arms, legs, rings, capes. Oh, I fucking love capes. The rise from brown village boy clothes to this is so rewarding, but even saying that, you can still look awesome early on and throughout the game, as you'll be changing your gear quite often. Also, the game doesn't suffer from that best armor looking like shit trope.
This hat helps you with curses. Don't laugh. This really helps. Don't laugh. Don't laugh at my hat. This helps. This genuinely helps.
As values aren't super important, but fashion is. Now you're probably thinking, but where's the dragon? It's called Dragon Shit Dog, isn't it? Yeah, hold on, man. I'm getting that part. Like I said before, the main draw of this game is the boss fights. Now, before you think to yourself, oh, I've played Monster Hunter and this game is made by Capcom, I know how this goes. No. You see, Itsuno played Shadow of the Colossus before making this game and was like, why is, like, literally no one done this before? Alright, I'm gonna go over most of the bosses, so if you want to play this game for the first time, just skip this part because I'm gonna go through them and it's way better to go into these fights blind.
The one-eyed giant.
Cyclops are just like you. Big, slow, and stupid.
You stupid!
It's the easiest boss, because getting hit by this thing is like playing a multiplayer game and expecting to be matched with teammates that aren't out of garbage. Its weak spot is its eye, so you have to climb up to hit it, but you can also attack its arm to get it to drop its weapon, its legs to make it fall to the ground, or its tusks to make it throw a tantrum. Some of them wear armor around these parts, meaning you won't be able to deal any damage and your attacks will bounce off. Hit it enough though, and it'll break. In the case of its helmet, well, remember what I said about it being stupid?
Oh, fuck.
Although, if you're the stupid one, it'll take a big knobby bite of your head. Now when I say Ogre, you may think of a few examples, but you'd be wrong. Because they're actually just your average gamer. Think of ogres like the Cyclops' angry younger brother, but much like an onion, they have layers. They're smaller and faster,
And stronger too.
so climbing them isn't recommended or required, but they still have the similar weak points being their head for dealing more damage, legs for knocking it down, and arms for scolding it when it's naughty. Yeah, so as shown before, the sight of women are excited. Understandable, but if you're going to target them during a fight and abduct them so you can take a big nummy bite of their head, then you need to be reprimanded. Some bosses can go into a more aggressive state once certain conditions are met. Once an ogre reaches a third of its health, it'll go into I no longer wish to be horny anymore mode, forgoing previous target bias and just going apeshit. And there, right behind me, was a monkey.
I did it, boys. I finally did it.
Why fight one boss when you could fight 3? Is how I assumed the design team went when creating this fairy's dream come true.
Yeah! Wow!
The Chimera is one of my favourite bosses to fight, not because of my fairy, but because of its design both visually and gameplay wise. You'd be walking around in the forest and see this giant lion looking head ass in the distance and be like, hey, what are they bloody feeding these stray cats? It's just got this really striking yet bizarre look to it. Drawing the line between a creature you would see in the real world, with the 3 animal heads mixed with grotesque fantasy that I just love. Now take a look at this beast, and tell me you don't immediately know how you're going to take it down. There's so much to this boss fight that makes it so much fun to fight. The lion controls the body, letting it run and jump around all while dishing out hard-hitting physical attacks with its head and legs. The goat remains stationary, and is most vulnerable to attacks, but supports the body with ranged magic. The snake is weakest and easiest to kill, but if ignored in favour of the other heads, can poison the entire party and grab anyone trying to climb the other heads.
You're not going anywhere.
I'll talk about music later, but damn, as soon as you kill one of the heads, I'm just over here jamming to imminent triumph.
Hey, Peter.
My other favourite. You'll appreciate having a well-rounded team for this one, as main focus for defeating Griffin is pulling it down to the ground and keeping it there. Straight up, if your party is heavy enough, you can all grab onto it and it'll fall to the ground. Good thing Camille's here. Probably just her will be enough actually. Back to the well-rounded team bit. A fighter or warrior can springboard the party up to the Griffin. A bow class can shoot it from the ground, while a mage can burn its wings. And you can't fly if your wings are KFC. You can tell this boss was made around this game's mechanics. Like, in what other game can you do this? Like every other game they hype this giant fuck off boss before you fight it and your mind runs wild like, oh, this will be sick, I'm gonna have to attack parts of its body to weaken it and climb up on top to attack a vulnerable point. Nope, you just stand in a small area, wait for it to put a limb down for 10 seconds after it attacks and smack it. Repeat into a cutscene of strong man doing cool move, hee hee oh, maybe I'll get to press a button and a quick time event, awesome. Nah bro, this ain't it. In most action games, you wait for the game designer to let you damage the boss. In Dragon's Dogma, you see it and it's already dead on my screen, bro. When Big Chungus goes up into the air, I don't go, well, I guess I'll wait 30 seconds while he does his range attack and I dodge the slow moving projectiles. No bitch, I fucking go up with him and need his ass. I run out of stamina and drop to the ground. No worries, Pawn, shoot this motherfucker. Ayo, Pawn, light this bitch up. I want a 16-piece original recipe chicken XL bucket. That's just fucking meal, and the rest of us can share a 10-piece family feast bucket with 2 large chips, a large potato and gravy, and a 1.5 litre Coke no sugar. I'll swap the Coke for another potato and gravy because I got a Pepsi Max for us in the fridge at home. Anyway,
Number 12, cock.
the Cockatrice is just a Griffin plus this.
I'm a bird.
You fool. You know what month it is, right? Camille, I'm so sorry. If I had known that it had got you too, I never would have used the last of the elixir. Wait for me, Camille. I will scour all of Granty searching for another. I swear it, even if it takes hundreds and thousands of years.
Well, look who's finally awake. Good morning, you big oaf.
Also, the KFC you get from it is American KFC.
What the fuck?
Get your ass down from here now, boy!
Kinda just a reskin of the Cyclops, using the same animations and attacks, but instead of just hitting it wherever you want, the only way to damage it is to destroy these glowing metals. Again, with these bosses being designed around the game's mechanics. Climbing is essential when fighting this boy, as metals will only be in areas like the top of its head, and its hand, its chest. Hell, one's on the bottom of its foot, so you have to knock it down before you beat it. Yo, are those Yeezys, bro? Damn. Ooh, look, one of them's glowing. Surely destroying that one will turn the tide in our favor. Ah, we've halted its movements. Yo, Imminent Giant's plane, let's go! Why is it glowing red?
Me right dirty.
NANI?!
Holy moly.
My name's not bitch!
It is now!
This is the most interesting one. You can't find this one out in the world and only get to fight it properly by accepting this quest in Cassidus after beating the dragon. Its main body won't take any damage, but its 4 heads are the key to killing it, as dealing enough damage to a head will sever it, where it will lie still for a brief period before regenerating.
Hi, Billy Mays here.
Climbing is essential, as the higher up the head you go, the more damage you will deal to it. And there's a nice flow of slicing off a head and grabbing onto another one as you fall to the ground, as the main goal of this fight is to sever all the heads before they can regen. This will open up the Hydra for a bit, where the body will take a shitload of damage from its attacks, after which it will regen all the heads. Bringing 2 things to this fight make it much more fun though, stamina items and fire. Fire magic or weapons imbued with it will burn each head, and if a head is severed while burning, it will take much longer to regen, making it much easier to have all the heads severed at once. And seeing as this fight is almost all climbing, having heaps of stamina items will keep the fight going. I say this is the most interesting boss for a few reasons. For starters, it's one of the most spectacular bosses visually I've seen in a game. Its 4 heads acting independently is insane, and I don't even want to think about the work it took to animate and program this thing. It's actually crazy. Saying that, you only fight it properly once in this particular area by accepting this particular quest, and hell, you might not even know how to get to it. You can fight it again in another place, and I'll talk about that later on, but still, so much effort and you can only fight it under specific conditions. Great fight though, absolutely super. Not much to say about this one, I don't even consider it a boss to be honest. Easy as if you can shoot 10 arrows at once, lame and tedious if you're melee only or use magic. I'll save Grigori for when we actually fight him, but for now, let's just press onward. The most solid class. Best defense in the game, solid damage, and probably the most fixable when stringing together combos or dishing out crowd control. Not to mention they have an amazing final skill which just mutilates everything. It's good to have at least one fighter in your party, as they can just smack their shields to taunt enemies and they can easily absorb damage. And overall, it's just a great class for new players to get to grips with the game. I reckon this is the best class in the game. You've got fast attacks, you've got ranged attacks, and you've got mobility. This class is great for almost any encounter and excels in taking down bosses, as you can use 100 kisses to deal heaps of deeps while climbing, and you have access to the best move in the game, Levi from Attack on Titan. Just please, for the love of God, don't pick this as your starting class, or you'll get one shot by Denny G from Birmingham. also known as the Giga Chad. Because why hit something with a big sword when you can obliterate something with a big sword? Slow and mobile, this class charges up the hardest hitting physical attacks in the game, while enjoying anything directed at them. And I mean, come on, does a skill called Arca Deliverance that has the ability to one-shot bosses not make you want to play this class? Think Strider with less melee killing power, but instead with Big Bow. This is the ranged class, because although it's good at taking down bosses with 100 kisses, its main power is in cross-map hardstyle. Oh, Strider can fire 5 arrows at once? 10 mighty arrow. Death. Their final skill is straight up ranged Arca Deliverance. Although, since this isn't a Chad class like Warrior, it uses up, wait, how much stamina? All my stamina? Yeah, this skill's damage scales with how much stamina it consumes, and it deals 1 damage if it travels more than 75 meters, but hey, it isn't called a gamble for nothing. Didn't actually get around to playing this one on this playthrough, so I'm about to go off my memory from like 6 years ago. Basically, it's a mix of fighter and strider. Then you use a sword or daggers as your primary, and either a bow or shield as your secondary. You can still use some of those classes' skills, but the assassin focuses on being a sneaky boy, fighting dirty, poison, and other status elements. It also has passive skills that make you stronger when it's night, or if you're alone. So it's a different way to play. This class and the next two are hybrid classes, which combine 2 aspects of other classes, making them the most unique. Think fighter, but with a greater emphasis on blocking. You get a massive shield that can be enchanted with different effects that damage enemies when you block them. You get access to some magic skills like Magic Cannon and Magic Leap. You can also swap out your sword with a staff, but why would you? It's a versatile class that can bring something useful to any fight. Plus you look fucking class with a giant shield. Strider / Ranger, but instead of doing ranged physical damage, you're doing ranged magic damage. I don't think it's as good as those classes, but it has its place. Being absurdly good against undead, and great for hitting elemental weaknesses. All your bow skills are lock on, and apply a different element. One of which is a straight up holy missile barrage. And you get cool melee magic skills too, like mobile explosion, or setting yourself on fire. Because wolves can't hunt you, if you are fire. Okay, I know I was joking with those pictures, but straight up, they perfectly describe these classes. Mage is like, oh yeah, I may be a 29-year-old virgin, but I've still got a year before I become a full-blown wizard.
かつて五感を奪われた戦いで極限まで高めた集中力によりマナを支配した経験、そして魔力で常に身を守るマナスキンの修行によりユノは支配した莫大な量のマナを体内に留める術を見出した。さらにはその術を進化させ精霊の力をも。 Fucking slaves, get your ass back here!
Take it, boy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fireballs, rook, really? Allow me to call down multiple meteors. Woman? Do you honestly believe you could have any effect on me?
Okay, master. Let's kill the whole beach.
Oh, I'm finally allowed to talk about Imminent Triumph. Imminent Triumph is just, let's fucking go, the song. I think I'm not coming off too objective with my personal opinion in this video, but when I say that Imminent Triumph is objectively the best combat theme in existence, I mean it. Fuck your Viking throat humming, fuck your Western cowboy beguiling Django, fuck your high-pitched woman breaking all glass in a 1 kilometer radius, fuck your Hiroyuki Sawano drop, fuck all that shit. This song is straight up telling you that you're about to win. This song is Dragon's Dogma. It is that feeling of Imminent Triumph. No other game emphasizes their boss fights quite like this. Because in every other game, the goal of a boss fight is to beat them. Here though, that idea is scrapped as soon as the song starts playing. Your goal is to triumph over this beast. In a game like Dark Souls or Sekiro, boss fights end with a slight sigh of relief that it's over, knowing that I'm one step closer to beating this quote-unquote hard game. In Dragon's Dogma, Boss fights end with me pumping my fist to the sky and yelling to the heavens that I want more. Aside from that, the other music in the game is aight, nothing memorable, but also nothing shit either. And the Grand Sworn theme slaps, bro, but like it doesn't loop, so what the hell, man. The main menu theme, however, god damn, it is the most unexpected and out of place song in any game ever, but holy shit, it is so jammy. The first time I booted up this game like 8 years ago, I was just sitting there headbanging for 5 minutes straight. Alright, another hot take. This is the best main menu theme ever too. Fuck yo, Last of Us guitar bullshit. And then for some reason when they released the expansion, they changed it to this, and like, Eternal Return is honestly a really good song and far more fitting, but nah, you can't stop. Okay, so you can have fun combat and well designed bosses, but what makes it all feel good is sound design, and god damn, the feedback in this game is god tier. Hitting something? Ooh. Unleashing a massive attack? Ooh. Breaking your neck? Casting superior magic? Yeah, the final howl of a dying beast. Every sound comes together to make this game feel great to play, and combat just feels so good when a boss reacts to a powerful attack with a piercing wail as it writhes in pain. And while we're on the topic of sound, the voice acting is a little strange. So you've got all these really talented voice actors and Troy Baker, and then you make them all talk in like a old English accent with the same kind of dialogue.
Thou art indeed a fool, for thou let thy carnal desire move thy gaze even as the end was nigh.
I don't know what kind of gobbledygook you're speaking to me, boy, but I speak goddamn American.
And like, the only character that works with this kind of thing is Gregory, but he barely gets any screen time, so what the when he is on screen though, he just commands such a presence and he just overshadows so many other villains I've had the displeasure of versing in games before. He's voiced by David Lodge, and honestly, this is my favorite role from him. He just sounds so goddamn good. Alright, all that's left is the story. Now I'm gonna be upfront with you. The story in this game sucks, or rather, the lack of story sucks. After the prologue with the dragon, any story build up that was made is immediately dropped, and you become an errand boy for the next 10 hours or so, basically doing side quests that are posed as main quests. You do not have any interactions with Gregory until you fight him again. So I'm just going to quickly run through the game until we get to that point. Starting from after we got Camille, we go to sleep, we wake up, Snake, fight Snake, cut off one head, he sacks it.
Ah! Stop! I'm gonna drop my croissant!
Oh, far, you're the man, G. Too much. Hey, let's take the head to the capital. 3, 2, 1. Arrive at Grand Soren.
Yeah, boy.
Grand Soren is the main hub of the game. Buy your shit here, sell your shit here, change classes, get all your main quests, you name it. Go to the Pawn Guild. Please go to the bottom of this ruin.
Okay.
What the hell? Skeletons? Sands? Drip Goku?
Fucking A, run for it!
Hey, you can get main quests from us now. Hurry up! Are there any quests that get me closer to facing the dragon? No.
Are there any quests that involve goblins?
Yes. Understandable, off I go. Arrive at Goblin 4. Kill Goblin King.
Oh, gammon! Oh, what a cracker!
Are there any quests that get me closer to facing the dragon? No. Is there any KFC? Yes. Understandable, off I go.
Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Ah, damn, it flew away. Quickly, run to the complete opposite side of the map so we can kill it. Ooh, we eating good tonight, Camille? Yo, is that Stefan? Yeah, light him up, cuz. Aight, dragon hunting time, eh? Are there any quests that take me to previously visited locations? Ah, Arisen. I may be a weak mage right now, but when the clock strikes midnight, I shall turn 30 and realize my shit, catch up, G. Where did he go, I wonder? Right, I know I was kind of making fun of the main quest before, but honestly, I don't mind it. Yes, you're running around the world doing quests without any sign of the dragon, but these quests get the player out into the world and exploring, and that's all they need to do, because the goal of the quest is just to get the player out into the world and experiencing the content. And here, it honestly excels at that. Some of your best moments will just be running around exploring and encountering some giant fuck off boss and fighting it. Encountering and fighting some of these bosses for the first time just out in the world are some of my most memorable gaming moments, as lame as that does sound. Even saying that though, some of these quests are fucking awesome. Storming a goblin and Cyclops infested fortress or hunting a goddamn Griffin is awesome, and it's something I won't forget for as long as I play games. Also, the fact that you don't interact with Grigori during any of these quests does make sense later on, so for now, let's just press onward. Dragon time? Shortly.
Not today, but I was just... No, wait!
Only my death will staunch the flood of destruction. A task still far beyond your means. If you would face me, seek me out, and I shall allow it. But heed the zealot's lesson well. When the weak court death, they find it. Until then, I shall hold your little keepsake safe. Your dragon forged will speak for my diligence in that. The choice falls not to me, nor to the whims of fate. It is yours alone.
Alright, so we can finally fight the dragon. But like you said, are we ready for him? There's one other boss that you can fight at this point in the game that I didn't mention before, the Drake. He's entirely optional, but I like to think of him as the test to see if you're ready to fight Grigori. He's the tankiest boss we've met so far with 8 health bars, and you won't be doing that much damage to him, so you'll need a shitload of souls. This fight is amazing because it perfectly trains and conditions the player for the upcoming battle with Grigori. Any attack he uses, Grigori will throw out even harder. Can only damage the heart? Same thing with Grigori. It's such a great way to both hype up a final boss and prepare the player for it without the need for cutscenes or text boxes telling them everything. Side note, he takes heaps of damage from ice attacks, and you can also attack his head to break off these spikes, and they'll drop his items.
Yeah, the right will end, Master. And witness our future.
We return to the same area as the one from the prologue, with some new enemy variants to fight too.
He's too nimble!
The Ghoul Chimera being the standout.
Black Chimera.
Basically, it's got more health, better attacks and magic, plus it can regen heads after a while. Now it's time to fight. And I'll just let the game speak for itself from here.
What is your purpose here, Arisen? If you sought to live, you had naught but run and hide yourself away. But then, tell me, child of man, what does it mean to live in truth? To wage war against the passing of days. To pray to the unseen for a few breaths more. To raise grand cities from stone and spawn new life in turn. Mankind has done this, yes, and more. But is the tapestry you weave truly of your own design? Their kind is easy to fathom. They go on living from simple fear of death. But not mankind. Some welcome the end with arms outstretched, while others come to face death incarnate, arms in hand. I ask again, what is your purpose here, Arisen? One path to your survival lies in my defeat. Still my heart, and you stay the coming end. Another path before you is to offer up that which you hold most dear. Abandon all delusions of control. For the price of a single life, I shall leave this land in peace. As my vanquisher, the duchy would bow to you. Wealth and power are sweet anodyne for heartache. You'll not gainsay my terms are more than generous. If it matters aught, the man who rules this land now won that honor through just such a bargain. The decision is yours, Arisen. Now, choose. You would face me then? Ah, 'tis a fool's choice, Arisen. But better fool than craven. I knew your mind ere you came. Still, I ask this final time. Arisen, will you stand and fight? Your choice is made, Arisen. As you have willed it, so shall it be.
Let's away for now. This way.
Show me your power, Arisen. Awaken now in full. Still my heart and lay open the path beyond. This is not fate, nor duty's call. This battle is waged by your own free will. If you lack the strength to stay my fire, to stay the fated will, then all shall scatter as ash. Now, come, Arisen.
Retreat to that tower. You can strike it from the rooftop.
Fight! Cling to life! Return to the earth. Your life, your very heart rests here within me. Reclaim that which you have lost. Take back your life. The surge of blood that tethers you to this world. It awaits you, Arisen, yearning here within you. The hour for turning back is past. The world will have its answer. You or me. Death or life beyond. If you would gain aught, give your world right now. Such is the contest you have chosen. Show me your power. Arisen, prove yourself worthy of what lies beyond my corpse. Show that you possess the strength to still my heart, the will to do it, the soul. Slay me, and with me death itself, stay the fires of destruction. Have you come so far to be stricken with cowardice, Arisen? You have chosen your path. There is naught beyond this field for those who will not give themselves over to their cause. The will of the master that shapes the soul's land. You've trained them well, Arisen. This battle you have begun. sits at the very heart of all creation. We are the axis about which the world turns, Arisen. Time itself flows with your footsteps. Show that you possess power fit to best me, or your world is forfeit into ruin. Come, Arisen. If you are truly awakened into the world, you shall weather the fires of perdition unscathed. Surpass me if you will to take up the endless chain.
Now, Master, aim for its heart!
Yes, I remember now. This sensation is pain. This battle is mine, just as it is yours. It is one I began long ago. This fire, this pain, the hurt you visit upon me is the self-same pain I once Stubborn child. Whatever meaning life holds, it makes men deaf to all reason. Heed me well, Arisen. In my death, you've won a future for this world. But what that future spells for you, for all men, is a truth you'll find staring back from this world's utmost depth. Arisen, you have earned back what is yours. Your life belongs now to no other. You've won it by rights. It is yours to use or cast away as you see fit. Remember that.
What if I told you that the game doesn't end after this fight, and the story actually gets good?
Yeah, I wouldn't really care, eh?
Alright, the rest of the video, I'm just going to talk about the story, and there won't be much editing, so if you want to dip out here, it's all good, and you won't miss out on any funny haha. Okay, so you might have been a little confused with some of the characters in the cutscenes, so let me explain. First, I'll start off with the totally legal goth lolly GF. This is Celine. She lives in the woods near your hometown, and at first, she seems like nothing. But doing a quest reveals that she's a pawn who gained human will. Her Arisen master died some time ago. How? Well, I'll get to that later. Since I did this quest, she became my beloved. Almost any NPC in the game can be your beloved based off an invisible number, but doing a quest for them usually maxes out this number. The dragon kidnaps your beloved before the fight, somehow, and gives you a choice when you meet him. Give them up, and Gregory will leave while you become the Duke. Choosing this option ends the game, but it's neat that they did this, and it makes sense later. Otherwise, you fight, they run off, and afterwards they become your wife or husband. You can be a little bit gay if you want. Next is this guy, the Dragon Forged, whom the dragon spoke about before. Now when it comes to this game's story, I've never looked at the wiki before, and I won't here either, because I think it's a lot better to speculate and come to your own conclusions with it. So this guy and his pawn have fought the dragon before, hence the name. But he's really old and his chest looks a bit sore, so he probably didn't win. He turns to sand after the dragon's defeat. It's likely killing the dragon made him regain his heart, and since he's really old, that means his body just suddenly aged to the point where he was just nothing. The Duke also grows really old. Why? Because he is also an Arisen. However, he took the dragon's deal and gave up his wife, becoming Duke but never regaining his heart as well, so he hasn't aged since then. Killing the dragon gave his heart back, but he isn't as old as the dragon forged, so now he's just old. So from all this, I can gather that there can be multiple Arisens at once, so it isn't like an Avatar situation, but only one Arisen battles the dragon in a given time period. The dragon doesn't bring about the destruction of the world, likely leaving after defeating the Arisen or is killed by them. The dragon isn't unique to each Arisen, and can battle/defeat multiple Arisen over different times, based on Gregori's past with both the Dragon Forged and the Duke. The dragon returns when a new Arisen is chosen, and repeats the cycle. So, what of Savan, the first Arisen we played as? Did he defeat the dragon? Or Celine's master? Did she die of old age and somehow release Celine from her company? The fight with the dragon immediately opens up a whole host of questions. Some that will be answered, and others you'll just have to come to your own conclusions. But this is a part of Dragon's Dogma that I love. With the dragon's death, the sky turns dark, and a hole opens up in Grand Soren, plummeting into the earth. And for some reason, you just walk back to your hometown, straight past Grand Soren. I don't know why you don't stop in to say that you beat the dragon, but whatever. So, back to Grand Soren, I see. Is that another fucking goblin? So there's some new enemies to fight along the way to Grand Soren. Cool, but they only populate the road to Grand Soren and nowhere else. There are some new lesser dragons to fight in the world though, and with two new variants. Worm, it mostly uses magic, and Wyvern. It mostly flies and it's really annoying. Roll up to Grand Soren, and if you want, you can just pop a Manu into this hole straight away if you want to continue the story. But I guess we can save the bombs for later. We'll go see the Duke. If you go see him, he just throws a tantrum and the guards take you to the hole where this happens.
Is a truth you'll find staring back from this world's utmost depth.
This is the Everfall, where we came the Pawns Guild quests, but now a lot more endless. It's called the Everfall because you can fall forever. Now, to my understanding, it's like a diverging point between the Rift, where pawns come from, and the world the Arisen lives in. We're given a quest by a familiar pawn to collect 20 wake stones, basically the revive item, and return them to her. Down here, you can meet aimless pawns whose masters have died down here, likely to wander for eternity. This opens up a question with the pawns. Does every pawn have an Arisen master like Camille and Kintz? And what happens to a pawn when an Arisen completes their task, or fails to? The way you go about getting wake stones is falling down to a ledge, going inside, and killing enemies who have a chance of dropping them, and bosses who are guaranteed to drop them. It seems randomly generated, with similar room layouts, but I don't think it is. It's a great place to grind, and there's some new enemy and boss variants to fight. Wight Hydra, just got more health in it. Metal Golem, its medals are around the arena instead of on its body, and it's always angry. Lich, just irons, but after he's fully buffed himself. And the new boss, Evil Eye. Your enjoyment of this boss is based off how much you like hentai. So you already know I love kill his tentacles, attack eyeball, job done. Finally, there's the Dragon. It's basically an online boss fight, where you get to fight it for about 10 minutes and try to deal as much damage to it as possible before it pisses off. Then, when another player goes to fight it, the damage you and previous players have dealt will persist until it dies. Then every participating player gets a reward. Never done it myself though, so I don't really care, but it's a cool idea. Return to Kintz with 20 wake stones and she opens up a portal. Grab everything of importance and jump in.
Well met, Arisen. I'll not waste time on rhetoric. Defeat me, and take my place as keeper of this world. You saw it awaiting you at the end of your descent. Aye, the same world you've traveled to arrive at this place. A world you may well now inherit. It is a simple proposition, no different than any you've faced. You need only the will to claim what is offered you. The will to survive.
This is the Seneschal, the keeper of the world. They watch over and sustain all life in the world for eternity. As you fight, they question your will. What led you to this point? Volition, the will to fight. the will to survive, a drive that is only found in Arisen, the will to continue the eternal cycle of the world.
You alive. 'Tis volition, unbending will. You are here because you willed it, Arisen. That alone has brought you here.
Consider the infinite potential. Just as you call forth borns, so I command all life into existence. Call it divine creation if you must, but expect none of the mercy men seek in their gods. This is cold truth, the unbending reality of a world without compassion. The world and all its denizens are but empty vessels. In that regard, no different than the pawns. Without volition, there is no true life. The world falls stagnant, dead as an ocean with no current to guide it. That volition is tempered by the struggle for survival. The decision, just like yours, to fight. Just as the pawns need a master's command, so the world thirsts for the will to live.
Show that you are more than an empty vessel, animated by forces unseen. Show that the temper of your soul is strong enough to command far more than mere pawns. Show that your will is fit to bind the fraying circle of this world and hold it fast. Fight tooth and claw. Struggle now and cling to life. Show that living holds worth enough to fight for.
It is time to decide. Will you claim your right as Arisen? Or shrug the burden and seek peace in oblivion? Just so. One foot after the next, come what may. That is what it means to live. Turn back now, and I will grant you a merciful death. The choice is yours, Arisen. Yours alone.
You're once again given a choice.
Step forward or retreat.
Forsake your duty as Arisen and live an ignorant yet peaceful life that will eventually end.
Then you would choose peace. That too is a valid fate.
Then fear has bested you as well. So be it. Go and seek your peace. Your guttering beacon in the churning dark. And I shall await the coming of the next.
Or step forward, pressing past the people you've met along your journey and claiming what is yours.
You are close now. So very close to me.
Come, Arisen. I shall meet you on your own terms, joined by my own companions of honor. You stand now at its end, Arisen. See your journey through. Fight.
My life is yours.
It repeats upon itself. Arisen, forgive me.
After you've defeated Savan, he tells you that all of this will happen again.
And the endless cycle continues.
And asks you, as the new keeper of the world, to end his life with the Godsbane blade.
Those who arise to oversee this world are undying, save by this brand's kiss.
What is the Godsbane blade? Well, you get it as an item after killing the dragon, so I guess every Arisen gets one after that. And Savan is asking you to end him with his.
New solution. Use it now to vouchsafe freedom to your weary servant.
On a side note, if you use yours on yourself here, or if you die in the fight, this happens. Before that though, you can question him on how the world and its inhabitants work. I'll give you a brief on what is said. The Seneschal is both God and servant of the world. Although they can create life, it mainly watches over and sustains what already exists. This world and the infinite other worlds exist eternally, with no beginning and no end. All life eventually dies, only to be reborn again. Nothing lasts forever, but everything exists for eternity. Will is the desire for more than the world provides. Arisen are those with boundless will, that fuels them to fight and survive. The dragon is sent to face them, to refine their will, so that they may sustain the world. As Savan fades away, he speaks of freedom, free from infinity. Does this mean he is erased from the world's eternal cycle, never to be born again? Is that the wish of all Arisen? As Seneschal, you can't do much, and it seems like you can only really do one thing.
You're like me, aren't you? As my grandmother gave me life, she gave you yours. They gave us death, and with it, true life. This is the world she wanted for us.
Celine's master spoke of a phenomenon where, given time, the soul of the Arisen will affect their pawn to the point where they assume their form, as Celine is a younger version of her master. By ending our life, we give our soul to our pawn, where they may live on as a human, along with our boundless will. You can choose from many different characters as your beloved, but I think Celine is the best choice because of her past and this interaction. It makes me think that her and my pawn will go on living. Probably not as lovers, but as like-minded people. Maybe assisting future Arisen, if there are any, or just seeing what the world has to offer. It's a great ending, as it's a personal one. And that's Dragon's Dogma. You get a nice little credit sequence where you get to see your Arisen stats, your main pawns, and the two pawns you traveled the longest with. Now after all that, is the story actually good? Well, I believe that any form of media that makes me think about it long after I've consumed it, or makes me want to come back to see if I can piece together more of it, is pretty damn good. Because the worst thing a game, show, or any form of entertainment can be is forgettable. But yeah, that's about it. I hope I've piqued your interest in this game, because honestly, there isn't any game quite like this, and if you're an action fan, it's a sin not to try it. Also, it's on sale for cheap as fuck on Steam till the 7th, so hurry up. But aside from that, cheers for watching and give this game a go, because it's a masterwork and you can't go wrong playing it.